So we are going to be starting a perspective project, and we're going to be creating a city from a worm's eye view. So as if you were a worm looking up at city buildings into the sky. And we're going to start with a practice worksheet so we can make sure we know what we're doing before we go to our project. So you're going to see some directions here, and we'll kind of work through it together. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure across our circle and put a dot on 4 inches. So the reason we're doing 4 inches on this one is because it's an 8-inch across circle. On our actual project paper, it's going to be much larger. I believe it's 11-ish inches. So when you do that one, we're going to mark it at 5.5 inches in the middle so that we can figure out where our center is. So what I mean by that is take your ruler, put the 0 line right where the edge of the circle is, and then my 8 should be on the other side. So I'm going to come to the 4 in the middle, and I'm going to put a little dot. Then I'm going to kind of turn my paper this way and make sure that it's 4 inches as well. So I'm going to move it down a little bit. So that should be the center of my circle. Okay, there's my center. The reason I did that is I'm going to go ahead and place some lines that are going to cross through that. I am going to go to step 2 now. And it says, draw 6 lines as lightly as you can through the center dot, stretching across your circle to create 12 wedges. So we need 6 lines. I'm going to place my pencil here in the center, put my ruler stretched across, hold your hand out like this so you can really keep it held down. And then I'm going to draw it as lightly as humanly possible because we will be erasing portions of these. Then I'm going to go ahead and draw another one. So this is line 2. Okay, placing it on the center there. Line 3. Placing it on the center. Line 4. And I'm at line 5. I wanted to do 6, if you can fit 6, otherwise, let's see. We can fit 6. I'm going to go in my biggest section here and fit 1 more. It's just going to be a little bit narrower. Okay, so then just to make sure that I have 12 sections, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. So now we're going to start each of these sections. We're going to be putting in the buildings. So the first thing I would do to kind of make sure that your buildings are not all the same height is I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of stagger with a ruler where the tops of the buildings might be. So if it's closer to the center, it's going to be a taller building. And I don't want any of them to be exactly the same that are near each other. So just staggering the height as I work my way around. Now this line may be altered depending on what I decide to do with my building designs as I work my way through the project. I would suggest, to make it a little more fun for you, coming up with a theme for your city. Do you have to? No, but it could be fun. Like if you have a certain video game you like, or a movie you like, or a book you like, or if you have lots of video games you like, you can come up with a theme for your city. Like maybe it's Candy City, or maybe it's Mario City, or maybe it's whatever kind of city that you think that you might like. So once I have these lines for where the tops of my buildings are going to be, we're going to go ahead and erase. Just those lines that go through the center. I actually want to leave that little dot at the center, but not very dark. But I'm going to probably use that for some things. If I don't, that's okay, but I'm just going to leave it there for now. And I'm going to erase all these lines that went through my dot. And I'm going to tell you why. Those are going to be my rooftops, my potential rooftops. And then this area up here, this is my sky because I'm a worm looking up at it. Okay, so this is my practice worksheet. We will be doing this on a final worksheet. I want you to, 1, make sure you understand how to draw the sections lightly. Okay, and then I want you to make sure you understand how to put the rooftops in. And then I want you to practice 1 or 2 buildings. We're gonna kind of do one together so we can see how it works. So here are some examples of what your projects could potentially look like. Okay, these are some examples I found online from another art teacher. Okay, and there's even some examples that are not circular, but just kind of give you an idea of like what you could do with sky design at the end, or what you can also do with like patterns on your buildings. Here's some more of those circle ones that are kind of in progress. Okay, kind of show you the detailing. And now we're going to attempt to do or be inspired by some of these buildings. So I want to talk about ones where it's like this, where the windows are really teeny tiny far away because they're supposed to look further away. You make the object smaller. How do we do that? Well, we're going to come in, and this is where we're going to use that center circle again. Okay, so this circle. I'm going to work on this building right here, and I'm going to make it a skyscraper. Okay, so I'm going to put my pencil here. I'm going to put my ruler against it, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate. The clear rulers are nice because you can see through like how far away it is from the edge. I'm going to come in and I'm going to draw shorter lines at the top and start to get bigger as I work my way down the building because I want these windows to look closer. I'm going to put my pencil back on my middle, rotate, and again, the clear ruler is cool because you can see through and see how wide your windows are. I'm going to go ahead and put the next line. These are the edges of a window. Put it back on here, rotate again, and I'm going to make a second set of windows. So one, this is the left side of a second set of windows. And now I'm going to put it back here and rotate again. Okay, so now I have a bunch of sets. Then, I think I'm going to straighten out this line because it's a little crooked. I'm going to straighten the roof line here. Am I? I don't know. Yes, I am. I'm going to straighten the roof line instead of having it slanted so that my windows look correct. Then I'm going to line it up with that, and I'm going to go ahead and drop it down and draw the tops of my windows. Then I'm going to drop it down, and I'm staying parallel with this, which means they'll never cross, like train tracks. And I'm going to draw the bottoms. Now you can see my window lines, I didn't make them quite long enough. I'm going to go ahead and sketch that in and fix that. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and drop down to my next set of windows. And again, the edge lines might not be exactly where I need them, but I want the tops and bottoms to be really straight, so I'm going to keep them parallel with the top. Okay, and then I can adjust these ones and fix. Don't move your ruler like this just because your lines are wonky. Instead, line it up with the window and the rooftop that's above you. Drop it down. Draw the next line and adjust the sides after. Drop, drop, drop. These ones were really crazy. That's okay, I can fix it. Just keep them parallel to that rooftop. Parallel, drop it down. Drop it down. And my windows were way off for the sides. That's okay. Then I'm going to put it back there again, drop it down. I'm trying to evenly kind of space out the amount between the windows. So if my sides were not drawn exactly where I needed them, again, I am adjusting that. Then you can make this even more 3D if you want to. Okay, I might put like a doorway down here. Right now I'm gonna make these more 3D. So I am looking up at the building. So if I'm looking up, I'm going to be able to see parts of the tops of the windowsill, okay? So I can kind of see, make it more 3D by coming in and doing something like this, coming from the corner. Let's see if I can get a little closer there. So coming from the corner, use my ruler, parallel with my window there, turn it sideways, parallel with my window there. Okay, and I'm gonna do I think I'm gonna do it on the same side on this one. So parallel with the side of the window, and that's gonna make it more 3D. I'm just gonna work my way down. So I got my windows done on my very first building, and then I can add in a doorway, I can add in, you know, whatever you want. I can change the rooftop a little bit. Maybe I want to have a kind of curved rooftop on this one. It's gonna stay within that kind of pie wedge that I had drawn there. And then maybe I'm gonna do like a clock up here or something, right? There's my little clock on my building. Okay, that's like my first building. It's got all my windows done. Every building should kind of be its own thing. And again, if you want to do a theme, you can do a theme. So say I really like office style building windows, maybe, where they're gonna like cross each other. I could do something like that. I could even maybe make this more 3D. I could come in and add like a middle edge to this one. And maybe make these two edges kind of come down so it's an even more interesting building. Like I'm looking at the corner, like two edges of a building maybe. And to do something like that, I could, let's see, what would I want to do here? Maybe drop in a couple sides. And then I can make that one look more 3D. I'm gonna go parallel with that middle line. So if I want to do like office style windows on that, I might come in like this, using that middle line again, and kind of rotate my ruler out. I'm gonna probably adjust that side of the building wall in just a second here. Yep, I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna fix that. So that's an edge. That's too big of a gap. Let's do it right here. This is the middle of the building. So like for example, on this one, I might have a door right here. I'm gonna use my ruler. I'm gonna put a little doorway maybe. And then I'm gonna make my door here. And since this is on the side of the building, maybe I'm gonna be able to see the edge of this. Okay, and then I might take this guy, and let's see, I think I'm gonna, still using my ruler with the middle, that's your vanishing point there, that's what that's called. I'm gonna adjust this since I kind of got crazy and made this weird looking building. I don't love this one. My lines are gonna come like this from the middle where the corner's supposed to be. And they probably wanna be a little closer together as they're higher up, and then get further apart as they come down. And then on this side, I would just line it up with the one I already did, but also my roof line. So it looks like it wraps around the edge. So there's another building, but turned kind of to the corner. That one makes it a little more challenging. You don't have to do that. You can leave them all forward facing if you want to. And then you're just gonna keep adding. What are you gonna do with your windows? Are they gonna be circle? Are you gonna have bricks on your building? Are you gonna have different, there's all kinds of fun stuff here. What do you wanna do to make it interesting and unique? Are you gonna add names to some of them, right? Maybe I wanna add like a sign. So I come in, draw an edge, turn it, draw an edge. I'm drawing a big rectangle on it. Parallel with my roof there, draw a line across, parallel with my roof, draw a line across. And then I'm gonna come in and write whatever my name of my building is. Maybe this is a Giant Publix. And then in my Giant Publix, I might have little curved windows. So I'm coming around and I'm gonna put like a few small windows and I want them to be curved. And then on my next row, I'm gonna make them a little bit bigger. And then again, like if I want that to be more 3D, I can do that. I could come in and add like edges to it to make it more three-dimensional. That one was a little wonky. And then you're gonna keep working your way around. Now, I would practice on 1 or 2 buildings, make sure you kind of understand how to put details on. And then we're gonna go to your final paper where you're gonna map out your lines on your big giant final paper. And you're gonna start doing your actual drawing. So you just need to do like a couple of these and show me and practice before we start. This might take you 1 or 2 days to kind of figure out how to do this. And then we'll start to map it out on your actual big giant piece of paper.